The alien empire's throne room was enormous, bigger than any human mind could imagine. Tall pillars of black crystal stretched to the ceiling, glowing faintly with a strange blue light. At the center of the room, sitting on a throne carved from pure energy, was the alien queen. Her eyes glimmered like stars, and her long silver fingers tapped lightly on the arm of her throne. Around her stood hundreds of alien generals, their armor shining under the glowing lights. The room was alive with chatter, but all of it was filled with mockery. The aliens laughed as they spoke about humans, a species long thought extinct. Humans? Weak. Emotional. Easily broken, one general said, his voice echoing across the vast chamber. They care too much, another added, smiling cruelly. That is their weakness. Empathy will destroy them if they were ever real. The queen leaned back, watching her generals with a faint smirk. They say humans once ruled a planet called Earth, she said softly. A small, fragile world. And yet, here we are ruling the galaxy while they are gone. Laughter filled the throne room again. The aliens felt powerful, unstoppable. They believed humans were gone forever, leaving no threat behind. But then, something unexpected happened. A strange signal appeared on the alien sensors. A small blip, almost invisible at first, flickered across the screens. It was faint, unusual, and completely unrecognized by their technology. Commander Tarl, the queen said, her voice calm but commanding, check that signal. Where does it come from? Commander Tarl, a tall alien with green scales and 3 glowing eyes, frowned at the readings. Your Majesty, it seems to be human, he stammered, unsure if he had spoken correctly. The throne room went silent for a moment. Then, as if on cue, laughter erupted. Humans? One general shouted, shaking his massive shoulders. This must be a joke. They are extinct. Their world burned centuries ago. Yes, another said, pointing to the flickering screen. This is nothing. Probably a ghost signal left in the old human communication networks. The queen's smirk remained, but her eyes flickered. A tiny spark of curiosity appeared in her gaze. She had never seen humans in action, never understood their true power, yet a small part of her felt uneasy. Very well, she said softly, her voice carrying across the chamber. Let it pass. We have bigger matters to attend to. The generals nodded, though uneasily. They returned to their conversations, still mocking the human race. The signal, however, did not disappear. It grew stronger, pulsing like a heartbeat across the alien sensors. Its rhythm was unusual, almost alive. Commander Tarl's 3 eyes widened as he tried to understand the readings. Your Majesty, the signal, it's getting closer. Much closer than it should be. The queen leaned forward, her fingers resting lightly on the arm of her throne. Closer? How can that be? She asked, though her voice had lost some of its playful edge. It is not slowing down, Tarl said. It is moving faster than anything our fleets have ever tracked. I cannot explain it. For the first time in centuries, a chill ran through the throne room. The general stopped laughing. The glowing pillars of the room seemed to dim as a sense of uncertainty crept over the aliens. The queen's smirk returned, but it was different now. Her lips curled in thought rather than amusement. Something in the signal called to her mind. Something unknown and powerful. What is their goal? She whispered, more to herself than anyone else. The sensors beeped again, faster this time. The human signal was no longer faint. It was blazing across space, heading straight for the heart of the alien empire. The generals murmured among themselves, panic rising in their voices. It cannot be real, one said, trying to steady himself. They cannot have survived, not after everything. The queen stood slowly, her silver robes flowing behind her. Perhaps, she said, her voice calm but filled with authority, we have underestimated them. Perhaps humans are not as weak as we believed. She stepped down from her throne and walked toward the massive window that overlooked the stars. The distant lights of the alien fleet shimmered in the darkness. And far away, almost invisible, a tiny human ship blinked like a single defiant star moving closer with purpose. The queen's eyes narrowed. A strange excitement mixed with fear filled her chest. She had faced countless enemies before, but something about humans was different. She could feel it, though she did not yet understand why. The signal pulsed again, louder this time, almost as if it carried a message meant only for her. And so it begins, the queen whispered. The humans, they are coming. And I will learn what makes them so dangerous. The camera pulled back to show the massive throne room, the generals frozen in disbelief, and the distant human ship drawing closer with every heartbeat. The alien empire, so proud and confident, was about to face something it had never imagined. And the first spark of what would become an unexpected war had just been ignited. The stars above the alien empire's fleet shimmered like diamonds in the dark, but one small point of light moved differently. It was the human ship. Unlike the alien warships, massive and imposing, the human vessel was small, almost fragile in appearance. Yet it moved with precision and speed that no alien technology could track. Inside the command room of the alien queen's flagship, generals and admirals watched the human ship appear on the sensors. The readings caused unease in the normally confident officers. "Impossible," said General Vark, his voice shaking. "That speed, no ship in the galaxy can move like that. It's faster than light but not like our ships. Something is different." Commander Tarl's three eyes scanned the data again, trying to find a flaw in the readings. "It cannot be a mistake, General. Sensors are accurate. That ship is real. And it is approaching at alarming speed." The Queen, standing beside the window of the flagship, looked out calmly. Her glowing eyes reflected a mix of curiosity and concern. "Do not underestimate them," she said softly. "Even small things can have great power." Her words were ignored by most of the generals, who still believed humans were weak and extinct. "They are nothing," barked Admiral Zorn. "Look at their size. One ship cannot challenge our fleet. It will fall in minutes." But the human ship did not fall. It approached the alien fleet steadily, not with the chaotic bursts of energy the aliens expected from a desperate fighter, but with calculated precision. The ship's shields shimmered in a color the aliens had never seen before, like liquid silver catching the light. The alien officers whispered among themselves. What is that energy? It isn't standard weapon technology. It's almost alive," Tarl said, feeling a shiver run down his spine. The Queen did not speak. She simply watched. Her mind raced. Humans were considered primitive and emotional. They were supposed to be fragile, easily destroyed. Yet, this single ship had already caused more doubt in her generals than hundreds of victories ever had. "Prepare the fleet," Zorn finally ordered, trying to maintain authority. "Destroy it before it reaches the inner defenses." Massive alien warships began to move, their weapon systems activating. Energy beams flickered along the hulls and missile launchers whirred to life. The fleet, normally a symbol of terror across galaxies, now moved with urgency, almost fear, as a single human ship challenged their dominance. The human ship, however, did not attack. It moved silently, weaving through the alien fleet with incredible speed. Its energy shields absorbed minor blasts without a scratch, and alien weapons seemed to pass through the ship as if it were not there. "Impossible," cried Admiral Zorn. "Our weapons, they do not even touch it." The Queen's lips curved into a faint smile. Finally she spoke to the room. "They are not attacking because they do not need to," she said calmly. "Watch closely. Humans do not fight like us. They have a different kind of strength. Observe and learn." The generals exchanged uneasy glances. None understood what she meant, but the sight of the human ship moving effortlessly through their fleet was humbling. Suddenly the human ship emitted a pulse of light, not directed as a weapon but as a signal. Across the alien fleet, systems flickered and faltered. Communication arrays failed. Energy shields briefly wavered. For a moment, the mighty alien ships were helpless. "What is that?" shouted General Vark. His voice trembled with fear. It disrupted our systems." "How?" Tarl shook his head. "It's impossible. Nothing in our technology can do that. That energy, it is not just power. It is intelligence." The Queen's eyes narrowed. "It is exactly what I feared. Humans are not only fast and clever, they are unpredictable. And unpredictability is dangerous." The alien fleet hesitated, unsure how to respond. Their arrogance had been shaken, their confidence shattered by a single ship. The generals began arguing among themselves, blaming each other for the fleet's sudden vulnerability. Meanwhile, the human ship continued its approach, moving calmly and purposefully toward the inner defense line of the alien empire. It did not attack, but its presence alone caused chaos. Alien crews were unsure whether to fire or retreat. Some hesitated, frozen by fear and confusion. The Queen watched silently, studying the human strategy. She understood something her generals did not. Humans were not aggressive like the aliens. They were calculated, patient, and clever. Every move had a reason, every pause a purpose. It was a type of strength the Queen had never seen before, and it frightened her more than any weapon ever could. A loud alarm suddenly rang across the fleet. Sensors detected more human ships, small but moving with the same strange speed. The initial ship was only the first. Others appeared, weaving through the alien fleet with impossible precision. The aliens panicked. "They are more than one," cried Admiral Zorn. "We cannot stop them." The Queen raised her hand. "Calm yourselves," she commanded. "Observe. Do not act rashly. We will learn what they are capable of before we attack." The generals, however, ignored her. Their fear had turned into anger, and anger always led to mistakes. Alien warships fired blindly at the approaching human ships, energy beams slicing through space. But the humans avoided every attack with uncanny skill, dodging as if they knew the aliens' every move before it happened. A small explosion rocked one alien ship, not from human attack but from overloaded energy systems caused by the human pulse. The crew panicked. Chaos spread like wildfire. The Queen's eyes narrowed, a new respect forming in her mind. "So, humans are not weak," she whispered to herself. "Strength is not in size or weapons. It is in intelligence, courage, and perhaps something more." The human ships finally reached the perimeter of the inner defense line. They stopped. They did not fire. They hovered silently, a silent threat that screamed louder than any weapon. For the first time in centuries, the alien empire felt the touch of fear. The Queen's generals looked to her, confused and anxious. "Your Majesty, what should we do?" they asked. The Queen's voice was calm, even cold. "We wait," she said. "Let them show us their power. Let them teach us what we have forgotten. Humans are coming. And the galaxy will remember why they should never be underestimated." The camera pulled back to show the human ships hovering at the edge of the alien fleet, small but commanding, daring the largest empire in the galaxy to make a move. The throne room fell silent. The generals could only watch, the Queen's words echoing in their minds. A war they never expected was about to begin, a war where the rules they knew no longer applied. And the humans had already won the first victory. Not with weapons but with their presence, their strategy, and their power to make the enemy fear them. The galaxy would never be the same again. The human ships had arrived at the outskirts of a planet the aliens called Zereth 5, a world occupied by the alien empire for decades. It was a harsh planet with jagged mountains and dark, acidic rivers. The alien inhabitants lived in fear of the empire's rule, their lives controlled by alien overlords and the military. The humans did not land on the main cities or attack the empire's forces directly. Instead, they descended quietly into a small settlement where innocent alien civilians were trapped. These aliens were not soldiers or rebels. They were families, workers, and children who had suffered under the empire's strict control. Inside the settlement, humans moved swiftly and silently. Their technology allowed them to bypass patrols, disable security systems, and open locked gates without raising alarms. Humans communicated with gestures and short, simple words through their translators. Every movement had a purpose. Every action showed careful planning. A group of children huddled together in the corner of a damaged building. They had been hiding from alien soldiers for days. When they saw humans approaching, their eyes widened in fear. Humans did not wear intimidating armor, nor did they carry visible weapons. Instead, they knelt, speaking gently, showing the children that they were there to help. "Do not be afraid," one human said softly, pointing to an energy field that surrounded them safely. "We are here to take you somewhere safe." The children hesitated, unsure if this was another trick. But the humans were patient. Slowly, the children came forward, holding hands with the humans. One by one, they passed through the energy shield and into the safety of the human transport ships. Meanwhile, the alien empire's patrols were closing in. They were fast, aggressive, and determined to stop any interference. But humans anticipated this. Their ships hovered silently above the settlement, scanning for movement. As the first patrols arrived, humans disabled their ships remotely, causing confusion and panic among the alien soldiers. Back in the throne room of the alien Queen's flagship, the generals and officers watched the unfolding events on the holographic screens. Some were furious. Others were confused. "They are saving civilians?" shouted General Vark. "This is not war, it is mercy. How can a human show mercy when we have them surrounded?" Tarl adjusted his sensors. "It is not just mercy, General. Look at how they move. They do not attack anyone unless necessary. Even their energy pulses, they are precise, calculated. They avoid harm wherever possible." The Queen's eyes narrowed. She leaned forward on her throne, studying the humans' actions with intense focus. "Interesting," she said softly. "They are proving something. Strength is not always in weapons or numbers. Sometimes it is in compassion, in the ability to protect without destroying." Her generals whispered among themselves. Your Majesty, we cannot allow this. Civilians are not weapons. Why do they care so much? They are human, the Queen replied, her voice calm but firm. They have a kind of power we do not understand yet. Observe. Learn. The humans had finished evacuating the children and the families. They guided them to underground shelters prepared in advance, safe from any alien retaliation. The civilians were terrified, yet they sensed hope for the first time in decades. Then, as if to demonstrate their message further, the humans did something unexpected. They left supplies for the remaining alien civilians, food, water, and medicine, before leaving the settlement. It was not necessary for the humans' mission, but they did it anyway. They wanted the aliens to survive, even if the Empire tried to punish them later. The holographic screens in the throne room showed this act of kindness, and the generals were speechless. Their minds could not comprehend why enemies would help their own civilians. Some felt anger. Some felt doubt. All felt something unfamiliar, fear of humans' true power. The Queen's smirk faded. She stood and walked toward the large window of her flagship. Below, the human ships hovered above the planet like silent guardians. Even the aliens' strongest fleets could not touch them. They are clever, she said, speaking more to herself than anyone else. They do not destroy for the sake of power. They fight only when necessary. And yet, their influence spreads faster than armies ever could. Inside the human ships, a small group discussed the next steps. The civilians are safe for now, said one human officer. But we cannot stop here. The Empire will respond. We need to make a statement, show them that compassion is a kind of strength they have forgotten. Another human nodded. We must teach them that fear is not the only way to rule. Strength without mercy is weakness. The humans' plan was clear yet simple. They did not need massive armies or overwhelming force. Their strategy relied on psychological impact, precision, and compassion, a combination the alien empire had never seen. Back in the throne room, one of the generals finally spoke. Your Majesty, they are teaching us something. But what? They are not like any enemy we have faced. The Queen turned her eyes to him. Exactly, she said softly. They are not just another species to conquer. They are different. And we must understand why, or we will lose more than a battle. We may lose the respect of our own people. The generals exchanged worried glances. The humans' act of saving the civilians had done something the aliens did not expect. It had broken the illusion of absolute control. Alien soldiers who witnessed these events began to question their orders. If humans could care for enemies, then perhaps the Empire's rule was not as unshakable as they had believed. The humans departed quietly, leaving behind a message, a simple holographic projection of a human symbol, glowing in silver light. It pulsed softly, a silent warning. Strength is not just weapons, the projection said in clear, simple words. Compassion is power too. The generals stared at it, confused and shaken. Some wanted to destroy it immediately. Others hesitated, sensing that it carried a truth they could not ignore. The Queen studied the message in silence. Finally, she spoke. Humans are teaching us something we have forgotten. They are not weak. They are strong in ways we cannot yet measure. We will see soon enough what this truly means. And as the human ships disappeared back into the darkness of space, the alien empire's leaders realized something chilling. They had underestimated humans for centuries. They had laughed at their compassion, dismissed their courage, and mocked their strength. Now they were learning the hard truth. Humans were dangerous in ways the Empire could not fight with weapons. The throne room fell silent. Even the generals, proud and arrogant for decades, understood that a new kind of war was beginning. One where mercy, intelligence, and compassion were as powerful as any weapon. The Queen remained standing, her eyes focused on the stars. A small smile played on her lips, but her heart was heavy with the knowledge that the humans' influence was growing. She whispered to herself, "So this is the power of compassion. I must see it for myself." The camera pulled back to show the planet below, a settlement once oppressed, now freed, bathed in soft light as the humans moved on. Above, the human ships glided silently into space, leaving behind not destruction, but hope and fear in equal measure. The unexpected war had begun, but it was not the war the alien empire. The alien queen paced slowly in her throne room, her glowing eyes fixed on the holographic display of the human ships. Her generals had returned from the front lines, their faces pale, their pride wounded. They had never faced an enemy like this, small, unarmed in appearance, yet faster, smarter, and more fearless than any alien force. They saved civilians, and left without fighting, said General Vark, his voice trembling with frustration. Your Majesty, this is madness. They are not attacking. Why are they showing mercy to our people? The Queen remained silent for a moment, letting the words sink in. Exactly, she said finally, her voice cold but thoughtful. That is what makes them dangerous. They fight differently. They win differently. And we will not understand unless we act. The generals exchanged nervous glances. Your Majesty, what do you mean? Asked Admiral Zorn. I mean, the Queen replied, we will test them. Send our best warriors. Capture them. Bring them to me. I want to see the truth of their strength with my own eyes. The throne room fell silent. The Queen's command carried a weight none dared challenge. The generals knew they could not fail. The humans had already shaken the Empire's confidence, and now the Queen demanded a challenge. Commander Tarl stepped forward. Your Majesty, we can send the Sky Hunters, our elite warriors. They are faster than our fleets, stronger than any soldier. They will capture the humans. Good, said the Queen. But this is not just a mission of strength. Observe carefully. Their true power is hidden, and I want to see it revealed. Within hours, the Sky Hunters, dozens of elite alien warriors, were dispatched. They flew through space with incredible speed, their ships designed for stealth and combat. The humans, however, were already moving ahead. They anticipated the ambush with impossible precision. Inside the lead human ship, officers monitored the incoming alien warriors. They're fast, said one. But they are predictable. They rely on strength and fear. That is their weakness. The humans prepared quietly, using energy fields and advanced navigation systems. Their small ships darted through asteroid fields, disappeared from sensors and reappeared behind the alien warriors. The Sky Hunters activated their weapons. Energy beams shot forward, lasers cutting through space. But the humans did not panic. Instead, they dodged each attack with ease, their shields absorbing minor hits while their ships moved unpredictably. One by one, the elite warriors were forced to retreat. Their pride shattered, their confidence shaken. Not a single human ship had fired a weapon offensively, yet the alien warriors could not capture them. Back in the alien queen's throne room, the generals watched in disbelief. Your Majesty, they are too clever. Our best warriors, they failed, stammered Vark. The queen's eyes narrowed. Yes, she said quietly. And that is exactly what I wanted to see. They are not weak. Their strength is in thinking differently, in acting with purpose. They do not fight like us. And that is terrifying. Suddenly, the humans made a move no alien could have predicted. They released a signal that temporarily disrupted the Sky Hunters' communication systems. Ships were left drifting, unsure of orders as energy pulses scrambled their sensors. The elite warriors panicked, unable to coordinate, and some even collided with asteroids in their confusion. This is impossible. Admiral Zorn shouted. They are not attacking, yet they are destroying us. They are not destroying, the Queen corrected. They are demonstrating. Teaching. This is the way humans win without killing. Meanwhile, in the distant asteroid field, the humans gathered the stranded Sky Hunters, not to kill, but to disable their ships carefully, ensuring the warriors were unharmed. Humans took prisoners but treated them with respect, even offering medical assistance to those injured in collisions. The holographic screens in the throne room displayed every moment. The generals were angry but also curious and afraid. They whispered among themselves. They do not act like conquerors, said one. They are teaching us a lesson. Teaching? Another asked, confused. They are supposed to be weak. They are supposed to run when we attack. The Queen's voice cut through the whispers. They are not weak. They are human. And humans have a type of power we have long forgotten. Observe closely. Compassion, strategy, intelligence, these are their weapons. The generals fell silent again. For the first time, they realized the humans' presence was more than just a tactical problem. It was a psychological blow. Confidence, pride, and arrogance, the foundations of the Empire, were now being questioned. The Queen turned from the display and walked toward the window overlooking the galaxy. She watched the humans' small ships glide between massive alien fleets with a grace and precision that was almost poetic. Their movements seemed effortless, but the results were devastating for the aliens' morale. They are proving something far greater than strength, she whispered. They show us that fear is not necessary to rule. That courage, intelligence, and mercy are just as powerful. The Sky Hunters, brought back to the Queen's flagship by the humans' calculated strategy, were in awe. They had trained all their lives to fight, to win through force, but they were powerless against these humans' tactics. For the first time they felt respect, and fear for a species they had always considered weak. The queen studied them silently. "You have underestimated humans," she said to her generals. "Not because they are small but because they are unlike anything we know. And this is only the beginning." Even the captured warriors, lying on the cold floors of the human ship, realized that humans' true strength was not in their weapons. It was in their ability to act with purpose, to protect life, and to think beyond fear and aggression. The queen's challenge had been set. She had sent her finest warriors, expecting them to capture or destroy the humans. Instead, the humans had turned the challenge into a lesson, a demonstration that the Empire's greatest warriors could be outsmarted, not by brute force, but by intelligence, strategy, and compassion. The throne room fell silent once again. The generals, proud and arrogant for centuries, could only watch as the humans disappeared into the stars, leaving a single message in the form of a holographic projection. True power lies not in fear but in wisdom, courage, and compassion. The queen smiled faintly, almost sadly. "So this is what humans have been hiding all along," she whispered. "Their power is not to conquer but to inspire. And now, we will see how far it can reach." The camera pulled back, showing the vastness of space, the tiny but powerful human ships gliding silently, and the alien fleets left confused, humiliated, and forever changed. The Empire had faced many enemies before, but never one that fought not to destroy, but to teach a lesson of strength through mercy. And the alien queen knew that the humans' next move would test her and her empire in ways they could not yet imagine. The queen's challenge had begun, and the galaxy would never forget the day humans proved that strength was not only in power, but in wisdom and compassion. The alien queen's throne room was unusually quiet. The generals, normally confident and brash, sat in tense silence. 4 days they had followed the humans' movements through the Empire, witnessing their actions, saving civilians, avoiding unnecessary violence, and outsmarting the Empire's best warriors. The queen, seated on her glowing throne, finally spoke. "Prepare the Central Council," she said. "I want to see them for myself." Her generals exchanged nervous glances. To summon humans into the heart of the Empire was dangerous. They were unpredictable, clever, and their presence alone had shaken the very foundation of the Empire. But the queen's command was absolute. Within hours, humans had arrived at the Empire's central chamber. They did not enter aggressively. They moved with calm, precise steps, their small ships hovering silently above the floor as energy shields glimmered softly around them. The queen watched closely, her eyes narrowing. For the first time in centuries, she felt curiosity mixed with apprehension. What made these humans so different? Why had the Empire's finest warriors failed against them? One human officer stepped forward and spoke clearly, using the Empire's common language, simple but firm. "We come not to destroy," the officer said, "but to show you the truth of power. True strength is not in fear or conquest. Strength is in mercy, courage, and intelligence." The generals whispered among themselves. "Mercy?" one muttered. "What power is in mercy?" The queen held up a hand, silencing them. "Watch and learn," she said quietly. Suddenly, the humans released energy fields that spread across the chamber, but they were not weapons. Instead, the fields stabilized the energy in the Empire's core, preventing any potential malfunctions from the ongoing conflict. Every alien officer who witnessed this gasped. "They are repairing our systems?" asked Admiral Zorn, his voice shaking. "Yes," the queen said, leaning forward. "Without even touching anyone, they can fix what we thought only we could control. They are showing us that strength is not always destruction. It is creation, it is preservation." The humans moved carefully through the chamber, tending to injured alien soldiers who had been hurt in previous skirmishes. They offered medical aid, repaired damaged equipment, and even restored power to sections of the Empire's fleet. Every act was precise, deliberate, and humane. A young general, barely experienced in combat, whispered, Why are they helping us?" The queen's eyes glimmered. "Because they are human. Their power is different. They understand that fear may win battles, but compassion wins loyalty, respect, and trust. And that is a power we have lost." Even the captured sky hunters, previously the Empire's elite warriors, watched in disbelief. They had trained their entire lives to fight, to dominate, to conquer. Yet here, humans moved through the heart of the Empire with control, calm, and respect for life. They did not conquer through terror, they conquered through influence. The humans then projected a holographic image in the center of the chamber. It was simple but powerful. Scenes of the human ships saving civilians, repairing damaged cities, and outsmarting the Empire's forces without a single casualty. The generals could not look away. For centuries they had believed that fear was power. Yet here was proof that mercy, courage, and intelligence could do more. The humans' actions had created hope among aliens, showing them a way to survive without constant oppression. This is impossible, muttered General Vark. No species can achieve this without weapons. They are gods among us. The Queen did not respond immediately. She was deep in thought. She had always ruled through fear, intimidation, and dominance. Yet these humans had arrived and shaken her understanding of strength. For the first time she questioned centuries of conquest. One human stepped closer and spoke directly to the Queen. "Your Majesty," the officer said, "we do not seek to destroy. We seek to teach. Strength is measured not by how many you can defeat, but by how many you can protect. Look around. Your people can follow us or continue living in fear. The choice is yours." The Queen's heart raced. She realized that humans had not only challenged her empire, but challenged her mind. They had shown that a smaller, seemingly weaker species could outmatch the empire without using brute force. Some generals were outraged. "This is arrogance," shouted Admiral Zorn. "We cannot allow them to stay. Their presence undermines our authority." The Queen raised her hand. "No," she said firmly. "They do not undermine authority, they reveal it. And perhaps it is time to question what kind of authority we truly need." The humans then left the chamber, but not quietly. They restored power to the Empire's core systems, healed injured soldiers, and even repaired damaged defense networks. The message was clear: humans were stronger than the Empire had ever imagined, and their strength was not in destruction, but in creation, compassion, and courage. The generals stared after them, some in disbelief, some in fear, and some with a growing sense of admiration. The Queen finally spoke, her voice calm but filled with awe. "This is the power humans hold. It is not in size, not in weapons, not in fear. It is in their courage to act rightly, their intelligence to think beyond conflict, and their compassion to protect even those who would call them enemies." She leaned back in her throne, her mind racing. The humans had outsmarted her fleet, challenged her warriors, and now challenged her understanding of power itself. She knew the Empire had underestimated humans for centuries, and it could cost them everything if they continued to do so. "The humans are coming," she whispered to herself. "And the galaxy will remember them not for what they destroy but for what they protect. We will see if the Empire can survive the lesson they bring." The camera pulled back from the throne room, showing the human ships disappearing into the stars. Though small and seemingly fragile, they had left a lasting impact on the mightiest empire in the galaxy. And for the first time the alien Queen realized something she had never felt before: fear of a species that did not seek to harm but to teach. The revelation was complete. The humans' power was not measured in weapons or numbers, it was measured in mind, heart, and courage. The galaxy would never forget the day humans proved that true power comes from compassion, intelligence, and courage. And the alien Queen knew that the humans' final test was yet to come, one that would determine the fate of her empire itself. The alien Queen stood on her throne, staring at the stars through the massive observation window of her flagship. Her mind was restless, filled with thoughts of the humans. For centuries she had ruled through fear and dominance, believing that strength came from power, weapons, and control. But the humans, they had changed everything. Every act of theirs, the rescue of civilians, the careful outsmarting of the Empire's best warriors, the repair of systems, and the calm, fearless movement through enemy space, had shown her a power she could not ignore. They were small, fragile, and yet stronger than anything she had ever known. Her generals gathered around, silent and uneasy. Their confidence had been shattered by humans' actions, and now even their queen seemed unsure. "Your Majesty," Admiral Zorn said cautiously, "we cannot allow them to continue. They humiliate us at every turn. Their presence, it undermines the Empire." The Queen shook her head. "No, Admiral. They are not undermining us. They are teaching us. And it is time we learn." Her generals exchanged puzzled looks. Some were angry. Others were fearful. But all of them knew they could not challenge the Queen's will. The humans had returned, not with weapons but with a single message. A holographic projection appeared in the throne room. It showed images of alien civilians saved, soldiers healed, and cities restored. The images pulsed with silver light, and a simple message appeared: "True strength comes from compassion, courage, and intelligence." The Queen stepped forward, her eyes glowing. For the first time in her long reign she felt something unfamiliar: respect and humility. One of the human officers spoke, their voice calm but firm. "Your Majesty," they said, "we do not seek to destroy. We came to show you the truth. Fear and power may win battles, but they cannot win hearts. Empathy, wisdom, and courage, these are the weapons we wield. The generals whispered among themselves, but the queen raised her hand, silencing them. She walked slowly toward the center of the chamber, her mind processing every word, every action she had witnessed. "You have taught me something I have long forgotten," she said softly. "I ruled through fear. I thought strength was power and control. But you have shown me another way. A way to rule not through terror, but through respect, understanding, and compassion." The humans nodded. They had achieved what no weapon, no fleet, no battle could have done. They had changed the mind of the most powerful ruler in the galaxy. One of the generals could not contain himself. "Your Majesty, are you saying we should follow them?" he asked, his voice trembling. The queen turned her eyes toward him, piercing yet calm. "Not follow, learn. Learn that true power does not lie in destruction. True power lies in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It lies in making choices that create life, not fear." The humans then performed a final act. They restored the Empire's central systems completely, healing damage caused by centuries of war and neglect. They repaired failing energy cores, stabilized fleets, and even left advanced technology that could protect the Empire from future disasters. The generals stared in shock. They had expected an invasion, a battle, or a demonstration of force. Instead, they had received mercy, guidance, and a lesson. The queen spoke again, her voice now commanding and full of clarity. "I have ruled for centuries, believing I knew everything about strength and power. But the humans, they have shown me the truth. Fear can make you obey, but compassion can make you loyal. Courage without wisdom is reckless, but courage with wisdom, that is unstoppable." The humans began to leave, their mission complete. But the queen stopped them with a wave of her hand. "Wait," she said. "You have shown me much, but there is still one thing I must understand. Why do you protect even those who could be your enemies? Why do you risk yourselves for others?" A human officer stepped forward, eyes steady and voice calm. "Because strength is not measured by what you take, but by what you give. The galaxy is not a prize to conquer. It is a responsibility. To protect life, to protect hope, that is the greatest power any being can have." The queen's eyes glimmered with a mixture of awe and understanding. She realized that the humans' philosophy was not just different, it was revolutionary. They did not fight for dominance. They fought for life, for justice, for the right to protect the weak. Her generals looked at her, waiting for a command. She smiled faintly, a rare expression for the centuries-old ruler. "Prepare the Empire," she said. "Not for war but for change. We will honor what we have learned. We will rebuild. We will lead not through fear but through strength guided by compassion. And the humans, they will always be a reminder of what true power means." The humans left the Empire's flagship. Their ships glided silently into the stars, small but triumphant. They had done what no fleet, no army, and no weapon could do. They had taught a galaxy a lesson in strength, courage, and compassion. Below, the Empire's soldiers began to talk among themselves. Some were inspired. Others were confused. But all understood one undeniable truth: the humans were not weak. They were a force unlike any other, one measured not in destruction but in heart, mind, and courage. The queen returned to her throne, her mind at peace yet alive with thought. She had faced countless enemies before, but none had changed her so profoundly. Humans had done what centuries of conquest could not. They had shattered her arrogance and reshaped her understanding of power. And as she gazed into the stars, she whispered to herself, almost as if in awe, "The humans, they are the true strength of the galaxy. And I am humbled to have witnessed it." The camera pulled back, showing the vast galaxy, dotted with stars, planets, and the tiny but powerful human ships disappearing into the void. The alien empire, once feared across the stars, had learned a lesson it would never forget. And in that quiet moment, the humans' influence spread silently but powerfully, changing not just the empire, but the very way the galaxy would see strength, courage, and compassion forever. The queen's eyes glimmered with determination. "The humans have taught us. Now it is our turn to change. The galaxy will never be the same again." The humans' journey continued, but their legacy had already begun. Strength, they had shown, was not in weapons, it was in the heart.